Happy Friday to you. Hope you made it through yesterday's crash. Um, Welcome to the Gym of All Trades channel. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin and Litecoin today. I'm going to try to do it as efficiently and quickly as we can and rehash a little bit of the trading that we talked about and um, talk about where we think we're headed for Bitcoin today and Litecoin. So yeah, stick around to the whole thing. I've got so much information to give you. I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible, but also in a way that you can understand. This is valuable information. If you don't listen to the whole thing, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. All right, so let's get into the chart. First of all, I'm just want to let you know that I am not a financial advisor, and I'm a technical analyst. I look at the charts and I tell you what I see. I use different scenarios and use Elliott Wave to interpret the market, and so I am an Elliott Wave trader. I do trade this market. It is very volatile and risky, so trade at your own risk. All right, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the chart. Now, what I want to say first of all is that the BTC chart is beautiful. It is just gorgeous. It's playing out so nicely. If we just look here um, on the 8-hour chart, you can let me get these fibs off here so you can see it clearly. It's just so pretty. You've got a 1 2. We finished the 3. We are coming down for 4. I'm expecting that 4 wave to retrace maybe to the 382 here. $4,800 is my target to 4760 in that ballpark. It could come down here to the 4,500, but there's not a ton of support there. It doesn't really make sense for price to stop there. If it comes down here, you should expect it to come down to the $4,200 range. So that's what we're looking for is, for a pullback. I believe that would be a heavy and big pullback. I'm actually looking for a 382 pullback. I'm looking for 4,800 to be our bottom. You asked me, why do you think that? Well, number one, there's kind of a rule in Elliott Wave that basically says that in a wave, if in the 2 wave you have a zigzag, which is what you have here, we've got a standard ABC. Um, we should be looking for a flat or a more flat correction in the 4 wave. So that means we're probably going to do it's going to look something like this. Now there you're going to have a bunch of subwaves. This could turn into a triangle, any number of things, but it's probably going to be something like that that we're looking for. So we got a zigzag in the 2 wave. So in the 4 wave, we should be looking for a flat. So that's what I'm looking for overall, big picture. I'm looking for another dip down. So don't think we've hit bottom and we're heading up. I don't think so. This is just kind of the beginning to the middle of the correction. It's going to take a while. It took just for the 2 wave. It took like a month and a half. Let's see, when was the beginning of the 2 wave here? It was December, somewhere around December 25th, around Christmas time, and it didn't finish until February 7th, February 8th, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's a month and a half. So you can expect this 4 wave to be about a month and a half, and then we're probably going to be heading up to the $6,000 range. We'll have to see what the waves do at that time, and we'll probably test 6,500, and then we'll be due for a larger correction. That is my thinking right now. How do you? How would I invalidate that? How would I say, hey, that's not right and we're doing something different? Well, that's the way we think as Elliott Wave traders. We have this is what I'm seeing, and this is basically what I'm seeing. This is what I believe. But what are some other scenarios? Well, let's just pretend that this actually was the end of 3. This was our 4, and this was the top of 5, and which it's a really truncated 5th wave. What if that's it? What if that's the case? Then what? Then that means we're coming down here strongly. Um, we're going to be coming down here to the 786. Right now, we're going to be coming down to the 618, 4200. We're going to be coming down a lot lower. So we should expect a lower correction, probably where this yellow line is at 4291, 4300. We should be looking for a correction down to there. If we get a correction that deep, we want to relook at the chart. Secondly, actually, not. Yeah, I was misspeaking. Sorry about that. It would actually a 2 wave would actually potentially even come down. Um, come down here to the 786, the $3,800 mark. You can see that this two wave right here came down to the 786. This came down 78% of this rise. So this rose. That's the 100%. So this came back 78% of that rise. So that's a good two wave. Will do that. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's a scenario we're looking at. What's another scenario we could possibly look at? This could all be an ABC. I don't think it is, but it could be. Just because we put the fibs on it and it went to the 1618 doesn't mean it has to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be the end right here. This could be the top of our bull move, and we could be coming down for one more lower low. So how do we know? Well, if this starts coming down in 5 waves, okay, then as we begin counting, we just keep making lower lows and lower lows. We know that our count is invalidated. So this is why we wait for the setups to play out. This is why. So this is the setup I'm looking for. I'm looking for an ABC correction. That's a flat. You can look up flats on the internet. Just Google ABC corrections or flat corrections in Elliott wave, and you'll see what it looks like. And you'll get plenty of examples on charts, and that's the way you can learn. One of these days I'll do a video on it, but right now we're just charting. So I'm looking for a flat, looking for a bottom around $4,700. Once we hit that, we're going to be heading up. That's probably going to play out over the next several weeks. It's going to take 3-4 weeks probably to finish this. It could go faster. It very well might go faster, but we'll have to see. Okay, so that's what we're looking at with Bitcoin. To me, everything's showing so beautifully on the Bitcoin chart that I'm using the Bitcoin chart for my trading. Now, Litecoin is doing similar things. That's why Litecoin looks more like 5 waves are complete. It looks like we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but that could be an extended third wave, and we're coming down for 4, just like Bitcoin is. So not exactly sure, but we're going to continue coming down. Now you'll notice in the 2 wave, this was a fairly flat correction. It wasn't very deep in this 2 wave right here. So if this is a 4 wave, we should expect a deeper retracement. We're probably going to be coming down to, I'd say, the top of this 1 wave here, somewhere around to the $40 mark. That's a possibility for this 4 wave, really is, as BTC makes our way up. I don't know that to be a fact, but certainly that is a possibility. Right now, my target, everything is pointing to about the $60 to $63 mark. Right now, this is the target area that I'm looking for, and I'll explain why I believe that in just a moment. So let's go back to the BTC chart. I've already given you the targets for today, but if you want to know why I think that, you can keep watching. So last night we had a trade, and I entered the trade. I want to give you a trade update as well. I entered a trade in Litecoin, but I used the BTC chart, and the BTC chart was just so clear and so plain. It told me this dive was coming. Let me show you why. We hit a bottom right here. We're going to put our fibs on that fib extensions, and what do you see that it came up to? It came up and tagged the 1276. So when it came up and tagged the 1276, that tells me this is correction. Then we had a rejection off the 1276, and so once you see that rejection off the 1276, you take profits and watch what price does, and that's what I did. You take profits and watch what price does, and it just took a dive. It was beautiful. It's so fun to watch price dive when you are in cash. You want it to go down because you're getting a discount, because once price hits a bottom, you get a discount, you can repurchase, and that's the trading mentality. So we were able to watch this in the LTC chart. Unfortunately, LTC came short, and so that the LTC chart was super hard to trade off of. That's why I was relying on the BTC chart for my LTC trade. But you'll see that if I throw the fibs on the trade yesterday, I entered right here. This was my entry. It was a good entry. I expected it In fact, I said in the video I expected it to come up here to the $75 mark, to the 76.80 mark, in that ballpark, 75, 77 to 77 in that ballpark. I expected it definitely to get up there. I didn't really have any doubts, but man, it just went sideways all day long, and that says something's wrong, something's weak here. So we had a truncated. See, we didn't even have a finished correction. It was just, and so that's why I was reliant upon the clear BTC chart that was just making beautiful waves, hitting all the fibs. And so you need to, if you're trading LTC, you need to be using the BTC chart along with it. It's just a lot clearer. LTC is so much more volatile than BTC, which is why I trade it. You get bigger swings and you get bigger profits as well. So that's why it's a good trading coin for now. So anyway, that would have told you to get out of the trade. Hopefully, if you got in that trade, you set a stop loss for yourself. So when price came down, and I said in the video, if you watched the video yesterday, I told you about the scenarios. I said if you see price come up here and you see a rejection and it comes back down, make sure your stop loss and break even or just in profit, so you don't lose anything in the trade and it becomes a free trade. You see, not every setup plays out the way you think it's going to play out, and we understand that as traders. So, and we're willing to take those risks as well. Okay, where do I think price is going from here in the very near term? Well, for BTC, looking at the BTC chart, if you look at this correction, we've got a nice correction and it had a nice reaction off of the one-to-one extension here. You'll notice that. Let me see if I can get there perfectly. There we go. You'll notice that price came back up after it hit the bottom. It came back up, and look at where it reacted. It reacted at the one-to-one extension, right between the 1 and the 1276. It wicked in there, and then it came down. So that is a corrected. That's a finished wave of a correction. So the question is, what's being formed now? Is this a one way? And so here are the scenarios. This could be going straight down from here. So this would be making a one wave. Then we'd be coming up for two. And then we'd be coming back down for 3, 4, and 5. And that would finish out our correction. And that would bring us down to my 382 level, which is that $4,800 mark I've been looking at. And that might be a very quick move to the downside. It may not take weeks at all for the four wave to play out. It might just go straight, or it might indeed make a triangle. We're not sure. So that's a potential setup. What else is potential? Well, what else we have is this could be coming down for a larger B wave, and so what we could expect is something like this. Instead, we've got an A, and this would be maybe coming down for a B, and we'll come up for a C, something like that. That is also a potential. It probably will not come through this price target. My guess, if I had to guess this weekend, this is not going to play out. This is probably the first scenario that I gave you is going to probably play out. But hey, nobody knows. We might have reached the bottom here of this correction, and we might be going up. There is absolutely no certainty in any market, just probabilities. So what we're doing is we are saying, okay, based on what we're seeing, what are potential setups? Now, if all of that's wrong and we're just going up from here, is that a possibility? It doesn't look like it. It just doesn't look likely. We got a 1, 2. That would be a very short 3 wave and a very deep 4 wave. It just doesn't look like that's playing out at all. I think that's already invalidated as an option. I believe it's almost with certainty we are coming down. Probably going to happen tonight. You know how Friday nights late and 2 o'clock in the morning is. So they're gonna just take this up today and then start bringing it down late tonight or in the evening hours, probably tonight. That's my guess. But once we hit this $4,700 mark, you want to think about going long with a trade there. That's a really good long potential. Where in Litecoin would it be a good long? Well, we've hit 68.97. That's actually this yellow line means there's price structure. That's what, if you ever see that on my chart, there's price structure somewhere supporting that, and you'll notice that we just bounced right off of that price structure. I'm still expecting another push down. And I'm expecting probably down to the $62 mark in Litecoin. Everything is just pointing down to that 60 to $63 time place. So there's a good chance. Let me just get a bigger time frame here so we can see it. There's just a good chance that we're heading down here. You can see everything's just pointing down. We're entering a descending triangle right now. This is my zone. If I put the fibs on it, um, uh, one of the things I've found is that it's just really hard to know exactly where to put the fibs. If I start at the top, go down to this wick, and then come back up here, my targets become 63. We've already gone through the first target, so we're heading maybe down to the second target unless we just wicked through it. Um, that's a possibility, and then we might be coming up for a bump and then back down. The other option. So if I change that though, say I skip that wick and I ignore the wick and I come here instead. Um, this 71.40, we've already kind of busted through. I don't think that's the scenario at all. What if I just ignore that wick at all and say that's just an anomaly as part of the other wave, and we come down here for our one, and then we put the fibs here. Um, you'll see that this one-to-one extension 61.75, again, this price zone just keeps coming up. So this price zone keeps coming up with the fibs almost no matter where I put them. So if that's the case, I'm really thinking this box that I've drawn here is probably the area that we need to be focused in on as price comes down. Might there be any scalping trades along the way? There are, but they're just going to be potentially difficult. Now, if we go up, I just think as BTC has to make another dive, I think we're probably going to see another dive probably tonight, if I had to guess. So let's look a little closer at this chart and see what the fibs are telling us. Now, what the fibs did on this one is a little different. Um, you'll notice that if I draw the fibs on yesterday's correction, we came up to here, down to here, and you'll notice that it came up to the 618, but it wicked up there. So is this is corrective, just like BTC is, and that's why we're relying on BTC. Then we came down here. We've got that's probably a one wave. This is making a two, and then we'll probably come down later on for three in a big move. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm watching for. I'm in cash right now. That's my stance. I will not be trading a long move until I want to see a good 5 completed waves coming to the upside. And so if this, I think this is already nullified as a 1, 2, 3. This has to be a corrective. So we might be seeing if it turns into a larger correction, this would be A. We're coming down for B, and then we're coming up for C, something like that. We're looking for and it could turn into a long protracted correction, which is these are smaller waves of a larger ABC, and so we have to look at that as they're played out. And so we'll keep you updated every day. We'll bring a video and just kind of show you what's going on. All right, I know that was a lot and it was somewhat disorganized, but I hope that helps you. My bias then is I'm looking down today probably for another push. I'm looking down. There might be some push up before down, but I think we've got more down to go. That is my bias. That's what we're looking for. I will not be going long until I see 5 complete waves. Then I want to see 3 waves coming back. Then we're going to look to enter, and I'll keep you up to date as the chart is being formed. You guys have a great Friday. Enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day today.